Donna Reed wasn't always a famous movie star with a fancy name. When she was born on January 27, 1921, her parents named her Donna Belle Mullinger. She came into the world in a tiny town called Dennis, Iowa, the kind of place where everybody knows everybody else and life moves pretty slow and peaceful. Donna grew up on a farm in the middle of America, in what people call the Midwest. Her family wasn't rich at all. They were just regular farming folks trying to make a living from the land. She was the oldest kid in her family, which meant she had 4 younger brothers and sisters looking up to her. Being the big sister in a family of 5 children taught her a lot about responsibility and taking care of others. Life in that small farming town was simple and honest. Donna learned about hard work, being kind to people, and treating everyone with respect. These lessons from her childhood in small-town America would stick with her forever. Years later, when she became a huge star, people loved her because she seemed so real, so warm, and so genuine on screen. That warmth wasn't fake. It came straight from her heart, and from the way she was raised as a little girl in Iowa. Even though her family didn't have much money and life was pretty modest, young Donna had big dreams. She wanted to do something special with her life. She wanted to achieve something greater than just staying in that small town forever. Deep inside, she had a strong determination, kind of like a fire burning in her heart, that told her she could be somebody important someday. After Donna graduated from Dennis High School, she made a brave and bold decision. She packed her bags and moved all the way to California. That was a huge deal back then, especially for a young woman from a small farming town. California seemed like it was a million miles away from Iowa, and it pretty much was a completely different world. Donna went to Los Angeles City College, which is a school in the big city of Los Angeles. When she first got there, she wasn't dreaming about becoming a movie star at all. Instead, she was studying to become a teacher. She thought she would spend her life helping kids learn and grow, which shows what a caring person she was. But something unexpected happened that changed everything. Donna was absolutely beautiful. She had this stunning beauty that made people stop and stare. She also moved with natural grace and poise, which means she carried herself in an elegant, confident way. It wasn't long before talent scouts noticed her. These were people whose job was to look for new actors and actresses who could become stars. These talent scouts saw something special in Donna. They saw that she wasn't just pretty. She had something magical about her that would look amazing on camera. They approached her and told her she should try acting in movies instead of becoming a teacher. This completely changed the direction of her whole entire life. If those scouts had never noticed her, Donna Reed might have spent her life teaching in a classroom instead of becoming one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. When Donna arrived in Hollywood, it was during a time called the studio system. This was when big movie companies, called studios, had total control over actors and actresses. The studios were at the peak of their power, which means they were at their strongest and most successful time ever. Donna had a combination of things that made her stand out from all the other young women who were trying to become stars. She had grace, which means she moved and acted in a beautiful, elegant way. She had intelligence. She was smart and thoughtful, not just a pretty face. And she had this natural charm that made people like her right away. All these qualities together made her really special and different from the hundreds and hundreds of other hopeful starlets who were flooding into Hollywood hoping to make it big. In the early 1940s, Donna signed a contract with a huge movie studio called Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, which everyone just called MGM for short. This was one of the biggest and most important studios in all of Hollywood. Getting signed by MGM was like winning the lottery for a young actress. It meant you had a real chance at becoming a star. Once she signed with MGM, Donna quickly started appearing in movies, though at first she only got supporting roles. This means she wasn't the main star yet. She was playing smaller parts, like the friend of the main character or someone who appears in just a few scenes. Donna's early film appearances showed everyone that she was a talented actress who could really act, not just look pretty. In 1941, she appeared in a movie called The Getaway. Then in 1942, she was in The Courtship of Andy Hardy. In 1945, She had a role in The Picture of Dorian Gray, which was based on a famous spooky book. In all these early movies, Donna showed that she could bring something special to her characters. She had this quiet strength, not loud or showy but powerful in a calm way. She also brought emotional honesty to every role, which means when she acted it felt real and true, not fake or phony. People watching her movies could feel the real emotions coming from her characters. But then came the role that would change everything and make Donna Reed a legend forever. In 1946, she was cast in a movie directed by a famous director named Frank Capra. The movie was called It's a Wonderful Life, and it would go on to become one of the most famous and beloved movies ever made in the whole history of cinema. In this movie, Donna played a character named Mary Bailey. Mary was the loving, loyal, and incredibly strong wife of the main character, George Bailey, who was played by another famous actor named James Stewart. Now Mary could have been just a small supporting role, just the wife in the background. But Donna's performance was so amazing, so full of warmth and realness, that she turned Mary into one of the most important parts of the whole movie. Donna brought such radiant warmth to the role. Radiant means she glowed with happiness and love. You could see it shining from her like light from the sun. Her performance felt authentic, which means it felt genuine and real, not like she was just pretending. She made Mary Bailey the emotional cornerstone of the movie, which means Mary was like the foundation that held all the feelings and emotions of the story together. This movie made Donna Reed immortalized in the hearts of audiences for generations to come. That means people fell in love with her performance, and even many, many years later, even after she died, people still love watching her in this movie. Parents show it to their kids, and those kids grow up and show it to their kids. Her performance as Mary Bailey will live on forever. Throughout the 1950s, which was the decade after It's a Wonderful Life, Donna Reed continued to prove that she was much more than just a pretty face or a sweet, wholesome actress. She showed everyone that she was a versatile actress, which means she could play many different kinds of roles. She also became highly respected in Hollywood. People admired her talent and took her seriously as an artist. During this time period, Donna appeared in many notable films. Notable means important, memorable, and worth paying attention to. But one performance stood out above all the others and won her the highest honor an actress can receive. In 1953, Donna starred in a movie called From Here to Eternity. In this film, she played a character named Lorene Burke, who was a nightclub hostess with a really sad and tragic story. This role was completely different from anything she had done before. It was daring, which means it was bold and took courage to play. It was emotionally raw, which means the emotions were intense, painful, and totally honest, like a raw wound that hasn't healed yet. This performance completely surprised both critics, the people who review movies and write about whether they're good or bad, and regular audiences. Everyone was shocked because they were used to seeing Donna as the sweet, wholesome, perfect wife and mother type. Seeing her play this troubled character with such depth and power was a stark contrast to her wholesome image. Stark contrast means it was totally, completely different, like night and day, or black and white. Donna proved with this role that she was capable of great depth and range as a dramatic actress. Depth means she could show complex, complicated emotions and make them feel real. Range means she could play all different kinds of characters, from sweet to troubled to everything in between. She wasn't just a one-trick pony. She was a real serious actress with major talent, and her hard work paid off in the biggest way possible. Donna Reed won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for this role. The Academy Award, which people also call an Oscar, is like the Super Bowl trophy of acting. It's the most prestigious and important award you can win. This wasn't just any award or honor, this was the big one. Winning the Oscar earned her critical acclaim, which means all the important critics and movie experts praised her and said she was fantastic. It also solidified her place among Hollywood's elite. Elite means the very best, the top group, the cream of the crop. Donna wasn't just a good actress anymore. She was now officially one of the best actresses in all of Hollywood. She continued to appear in other films during this time too. In 1954, she was in The Last Time I Saw Paris. She also appeared in They Were Expendable back in 1945. Throughout all these years, she worked alongside many of the era's top stars and directors, the biggest names and most talented people in the movie business. But Donna Reed's influence and impact didn't stop with movies. Her influence extended far beyond the silver screen. The silver screen is a fancy, old-fashioned way of saying the movies. She was about to do something even bigger that would reach millions and millions of people. In 1958, Donna made a big transition to television. Television was still pretty new back then, not like today where everyone has TV and it's been around forever. She didn't just act in a TV show that someone else created. Instead, she created and starred in her own show called The Donna Reed Show. Creating your own show was a huge deal, especially for a woman in the 1950s. The show became a massive hit and ran for 8 successful seasons, all the way until 1966. That's 8 years of being on TV every week. The series showed the life of a suburban American family. Suburban means they lived in a neighborhood outside the big city, in a nice house with a yard. The kind of place where lots of regular families lived during that time. The show depicted an idealized yet relatable life. Idealized means it showed a perfect, almost too good to be true version of family life, where problems were solved in 30 minutes and everyone was mostly happy. But it was also relatable, which means regular people watching at home could see themselves in the characters and situations. They thought, hey, that's kind of like my family. The Donna Reed Show became a cornerstone of early television programming. A cornerstone is like the most important stone in a building's foundation. It holds everything else up. This show was one of the most important and influential shows in the early days of TV. On the show, Donna played a character named Donna Stone. Donna Stone was the epitome of the modern, intelligent, and compassionate wife and mother. Epitome means the perfect example, the ideal version of something. And compassionate means caring, kind, and understanding of other people's feelings. Her character was everything people in the 1950s and early 1960s thought a perfect mother should be. But she was also smart and capable, not just someone who stayed home and cooked. This character resonated with millions of viewers. Resonated means it connected with people on a deep level. They felt it in their hearts, and it meant something important to them. This was during a time when family-centered programming dominated the airwaves, which means most of the popular TV shows were about families, and those were the shows that everyone was watching. But here's something really important that a lot of people don't know. Behind the scenes, Donna Reed was doing something revolutionary and groundbreaking. She wasn't just the star of the show, she was also a producer. This means she had control over how the show was made, what stories they told, and how everything was done. This was absolutely huge, because Donna became one of the first women in Hollywood to have creative control over her own series. Back in those days, almost all producers, directors, and people in charge were men. Women were usually just the actresses who did what they were told. But not Donna Reed. She was in charge, making decisions and running things. Her leadership in this regard opened doors for future generations of women in the entertainment industry. She was like a pioneer, going first and making it easier for other women to follow. Because Donna proved that a woman could successfully run a TV show, other women after her had an easier time getting those kinds of opportunities. Beyond her acting achievements and her work in television, Donna Reed was deeply committed to her personal values and social activism. Social activism means working to make society better and fighting for causes you believe in. Donna was known for her compassion, caring about others, her intelligence, being smart and thoughtful, and her strong moral convictions. Moral convictions means she had strong beliefs about what was right and wrong, and she stood by those beliefs no matter what. During the Vietnam War, which was a long, controversial war that America fought in the 1960s and early 1970s, Donna Reed became a vocal advocate for peace. Vocal advocate means she spoke up loudly and clearly about what she believed in. She didn't stay quiet. She thought the war was wrong and she wasn't afraid to say so. Even though speaking out against the war was controversial and some people didn't like it, Donna actually co-founded an organization called Another Mother for Peace. To co-found something means to start it along with other people. This organization's whole purpose was to try to end the conflict and promote nonviolent solutions. The mothers in this group believed that war was wrong and that problems should be solved through peace and talking, not through fighting and killing. This activism demonstrated a side of Donna that many people did not see on screen. On TV and in movies, she played sweet, gentle characters, but in real life, she was a passionate woman who used her fame and influence to speak out for justice and humanity. She cared about making the world a better place, and she was willing to fight for what she believed in. Her dedication to family, community, and social causes reflected the integrity that defined both her professional and personal life. Integrity means being honest, having strong moral principles, and doing the right thing even when it's hard. Donna had integrity in everything she did, in her work, and in her personal life. Now let's talk about Donna's personal life and her marriages, because her love life was just as interesting as her career, and it helps us understand who she really was. From 1943 to 1945, Donna Reed was married to a man named William Tuttle. William was a talented makeup artist, someone who does actors' makeup for movies. He would later become a highly respected figure at MGM, the same studio where Donna worked. In fact, he became so famous and good at his job that he eventually won an honorary Oscar for his amazing makeup artistry. Their marriage began during the height of World War II. This was a really intense time in history when America was fighting in a huge war, and everything felt uncertain and scary. Hollywood during this time was both a place of glamour, fancy, sparkly, exciting stuff, and patriotic duty. People felt they had to support their country and the soldiers fighting. William Tuttle's work behind the scenes complemented Donna's rising fame in front of the camera. Complemented means they went well together. His work made her look good, and her success made him look good too. While William was working his magic making actors look perfect with makeup, Donna was rapidly becoming one of MGM's most promising young actresses. Promising means people could see she had a bright future ahead of her. However, their marriage was short-lived, which means it didn't last very long. The intense schedules, long working hours, and pressures of the entertainment industry took a toll on their relationship. Took a toll means it damaged their relationship and made things really hard. They were both working so much, such long hours, and under so much pressure that they barely had time for each other. By 1945, after just 2 years together, which isn't very long at all for a marriage, Reed and Tuttle divorced. Getting divorced means they legally ended their marriage and weren't husband and wife anymore. Despite the brevity of their marriage, brevity means shortness. It was brief, quick, not long. They reportedly parted amicably. Amicably means they stayed friendly and didn't hate each other. They split up in a nice, respectful way instead of fighting and being mean to each other. Both of them continued to thrive in their respective careers after the divorce. Thrive means to do really well, to succeed and grow. Donna kept rising as a famous actress, and William kept working as a renowned makeup designer, whose artistry would later win him that honorary Oscar I mentioned earlier. After the divorce, Donna Reed's life took a new turn when she met and married a man named Tony Owen in 1945, the same year her first marriage ended. Tony Owen was a producer, which means he helped make movies and TV shows happen. He was charismatic, which means he had a magnetic personality that drew people to him. People liked being around him. He was also ambitious, which means he had big goals and dreams and worked hard to achieve them. Tony recognized something special in Donna. He didn't just see her beauty or her talent as an actress. He also recognized her intelligence and determination. He saw that she was smart, capable, and driven to succeed. He respected her as a complete person, not just as a pretty movie star. Their partnership soon became both personal and professional, which means they were romantic partners, married, and also worked together on projects. Together they built a bustling household. Bustling means busy, active, full of life and energy. They also had to navigate the unpredictable world of Hollywood together. Navigate means to find their way through something difficult, like steering a ship through dangerous waters. The couple raised 4 children, and here's something really special. 2 of their children were adopted, and 2 were biological, born to them. They created a warm, close-knit family environment despite the demands of the entertainment industry. Close-knit means they were tight, connected, and loving, like a warm blanket knitted together tightly with no gaps. Their first 2 children, Penny Jane, born in 1945, and Anthony, born in 1946, were adopted shortly after birth. This means, when these babies were born, their birth parents couldn't take care of them, so Donna and Tony adopted them and raised them as their own children. Reed and Owen had a deep desire to provide a loving home for children who needed one. Adoption was a reflection of Reed's nurturing nature and lifelong compassion for children. Nurturing means caring for and helping someone grow, like watering a plant so it can bloom. Donna just had this natural instinct to love and care for children, and adoption let her give that love to kids who needed it. As Reed's film career blossomed, which means it grew and flourished like a beautiful flower opening up, she balanced motherhood with remarkable poise. Poise means grace, elegance, and the ability to stay calm and handle things well, even when life is crazy. In 1949, Donna gave birth to their first biological son, Timothy. Then later in 1957, she welcomed their youngest child, Mary Ann. Welcomed is a nice way of saying they had another baby and were happy about it. During these years, Reed managed to maintain an extraordinary equilibrium between her home life and her thriving career. Equilibrium means balance. She kept everything balanced like a skilled tightrope walker. Thriving means doing really, really well and succeeding. She became known among her friends and colleagues as a devoted mother who often placed her family above fame. Devoted means completely dedicated and committed. Even though she was becoming more and more famous, she always made sure her kids came first. Despite being one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces, which means everyone knew who she was, she remained grounded. Grounded means she stayed down to earth, normal, and didn't let fame go to her head. She frequently hosted family dinners, attended school functions, like parent-teacher meetings and school plays, and personally tended to her children's needs. She didn't hire nannies to do everything. She actually took care of her own kids herself. Her family was her sanctuary. A sanctuary is a safe, peaceful place where you can escape from the world, like a shelter or refuge. For Donna, home with her family was that special, safe place. She often credited her husband, Tony Owen, for being both supportive and encouraging of her acting ambitions. She said he helped her chase her dreams and supported her career, which wasn't always common back then, when many husbands expected their wives to stay home. However, as the years passed, cracks began to appear in their marriage. Cracks here doesn't mean actual cracks in a wall. It's a metaphor meaning problems started showing up, like when a crack appears in a wall that seemed solid before. The entertainment industry could be relentless, which means it was harsh, demanding, and never gave them a break. Owen's career as a producer often demanded long absences and late nights, which strained their relationship. Strained means it put pressure on their marriage and made things difficult. He was gone a lot, working late, and they didn't get to spend much time together anymore. By the late 1960s, Reed's life had shifted significantly. She had become a household name through The Donna Reed Show. A household name means she was so famous that everyone knew who she was. Her name was known in every household, every home in America. The show was a television hit that ran from 1958 to 1966 and brought her both fame and an Emmy Award. An Emmy is like an Oscar, but for television instead of movies. Yet, behind the scenes, meaning in her private life where people couldn't see, The pressures of celebrity life, coupled with changing personal priorities, began to wear on their marriage. Coupled with means combined with or along with. Wear on means to gradually damage or make worse, like how constant rubbing can wear a hole in your jeans. After 26 years together, which is a really long time, more than a quarter of a century, Reed and Owen divorced in 1971. This was way longer than her first marriage, but eventually it still ended. It was a painful but dignified separation. Dignified means they handled it with class and respect, not fighting dirty or being mean. And Reed continued to maintain a cordial relationship with Owen for the sake of their children. Cordial means polite and friendly. Even though they weren't married anymore, they stayed friendly because they both wanted what was best for their kids. 3 years later, in 1974, Donna Reed found love again when she married Grover W. Asmus. Grover was a retired United States Army colonel, which means he had been a high-ranking military officer, but was now retired from the Army. Their union marked a new chapter of peace and stability in Reed's life. Union is another word for marriage, and a chapter here means a new part or phase of her life story. Asmus was not part of the entertainment world at all, and his grounded, disciplined demeanor offered Reed a welcome change from the fast-paced Hollywood environment she had known for decades. Demeanor means the way someone acts and carries themselves. Grover was calm, stable, and organized because of his military background. This was a welcome change, meaning Donna was happy about it. From the crazy, fast-moving world of Hollywood she had lived in for 30 or 40 years. The couple settled into a quiet, contented life. Contented means happy, satisfied, and peaceful. They often split their time between Los Angeles and their home in Beverly Hills, going back and forth between these two places. Friends and family described their relationship as deeply affectionate and mutually supportive. Affectionate means showing love and warmth, like hugging and being sweet to each other. Mutually supportive means they both supported each other. It went both ways, not just one person supporting the other. It was a true partnership built on respect, companionship, and shared values. Companionship means being good friends and enjoying spending time together. Shared values means they believed in the same things and had the same ideas about what was important in life. Now we get to the part about the man Donna Reed hated more than anyone. The story I promised you at the very beginning. When Donna Reed agreed to star opposite Stewart Granger in the 1958 British mystery film called The Whole Truth, she expected a professional experience marked by mutual respect and the usual courtesies between seasoned actors. Marked by means characterized by or full of. Mutual respect means both actors respecting each other equally. Courtesies means polite, nice behavior, and seasoned actors means experienced actors who have been doing this work for a long time and know what they're doing. What she encountered instead was one of the most unpleasant working relationships of her entire career. Encountered means came across or experienced. It turned out to be awful, not pleasant at all. Reed, who had always been known for her grace, discipline, and professionalism on set, found herself clashing bitterly with Granger. Clashing means fighting, arguing, and not getting along. And bitterly means intensely and with a lot of bad feelings. The reason? Granger's arrogance and inflated ego made him, in her eyes, impossible to tolerate. Arrogance means thinking you're better than everyone else and acting superior. An inflated ego means he thought way too highly of himself. His sense of self-importance was blown up like a balloon filled with too much air. And impossible to tolerate means she just couldn't stand him, couldn't put up with him, couldn't deal with him anymore. Later in life, when people asked Donna about her experiences working with various co-stars throughout her long career, she didn't hesitate to admit that Stewart Granger was the one man in Hollywood she truly hated more than anyone. She didn't even pause or think about it. She just said it right out. Those words were shocking coming from Reed, who rarely spoke ill of anyone. Spoke ill of means said bad things about someone. Donna was usually so nice and gracious that she never said mean things about people. Yet these harsh words revealed the deep frustration and disdain she felt toward the British leading man. Disdain means a feeling of contempt or disgust. She really looked down on him and thought he was terrible. During the production of The Whole Truth, tension between the two stars was evident almost from the first day of filming. Evident means obvious, clear, easy to see. You could tell they didn't like each other right away. Granger was already notorious for his difficult temperament. Notorious means famous for something bad. And temperament means personality and mood. He was known throughout Hollywood as someone who was hard to work with. Granger seemed to delight in asserting dominance over his co-stars, and Reed was no exception. Delight in means to enjoy or take pleasure in. Asserting dominance means showing that he was in charge, that he was the boss, that he was more important. It's like a bully on a playground who has to show everyone he's the toughest kid. And Reed was no exception, means he treated her the same bad way he treated everyone else. Granger was known for his sharp tongue and sense of superiority. A sharp tongue means he said mean, cutting things that hurt people's feelings. And a sense of superiority means he felt he was better than other people. He often dismissed her ideas, which means he ignored them or said they didn't matter. He interrupted her during rehearsals, which is super rude, like when someone cuts you off in the middle of talking. And he even mocked her American sensibilities, which means he made fun of her for being American and having American values and ways of doing things. Donna, who had built her career on intelligence and poise, found his behavior insufferable. Insufferable means unbearable, intolerable, so bad that you can't stand it even one more second. He was arrogant, rude, and full of himself, she reportedly said. Full of himself means conceited and thinking he's amazing. He treated everyone around him as if they were beneath him, and I simply couldn't stand it. Her resentment was not born of a single incident, but of a long series of condescending gestures and belittling remarks. Resentment means bitter anger and dislike. Born of means caused by or coming from. A long series means many, many times, not just once. Condescending gestures means actions that showed he thought he was better than other people. And belittling remarks means comments that made people feel small, unimportant, and stupid. All of these things turned what should have been a professional collaboration into an emotional ordeal. A collaboration means working together nicely, and an ordeal means a difficult, painful experience that tests you, like a nightmare you have to get through. Reed's dislike was intensified by the contrast between their personalities. Intensified means made stronger or worse. Their personalities were so different that it made her dislike him even more. She had long been admired for her sincerity, her Midwestern manners, and her quiet strength. Sincerity means being genuine, honest, and real. Midwestern manners means the polite, humble, friendly way people from the Midwest, like Iowa, where she grew up, tend to act. A native of Dennis, Iowa, she valued humility and teamwork. Valued means she thought these things were important and good. Humility means being modest and not thinking you're better than others. These were qualities that Granger seemed to entirely lack. He didn't have even a tiny bit of humility or teamwork in him. Granger, on the other hand, was a product of the British film establishment. This means he came from the British movie industry and all its traditions. He was a man who carried himself with the confidence of an aristocrat. An aristocrat is someone from a noble upper-class family, like royalty or fancy rich people who think they're special because of their family background. Granger often looked down on American actors, especially women, whom he believed lacked the sophistication of their European counterparts. Look down on means he thought they were inferior. Sophistication means being cultured, refined, and classy. And counterparts means equivalents or equals. So he thought American actors, especially women, weren't as classy or cultured as European actors. To Reed, his condescension was unforgivable. Condescension means the act of treating people as if they're inferior to you, and unforgivable means she could never forgive him for it. It was just too terrible. He thought he was God's gift to the movies, she once quipped. To quip means to make a clever, witty comment. And God's gift is a sarcastic expression meaning someone thinks they're perfect and amazing, and the best thing that ever happened. But he was just a man full of hot air, she added. Full of hot air means full of nonsense, all talk with nothing to back it up. Basically, he talked big but wasn't actually that special. She wasn't the only one who felt this way about Granger. Even members of the crew whispered about his attitude, privately siding with Reed. The crew means all the people who work behind the scenes making the movie happen. The camera operators, lighting people, sound technicians, and so on. They whispered, talked quietly, about how awful he was, and they privately took Reed's side, agreeing with her. Despite her anger, she continued to maintain her professionalism and deliver a flawless performance. Maintain her professionalism means she kept doing her job well and acting professional even though she was mad. And flawless means perfect, without any mistakes. Even though she was miserable and hated working with him, she still did her job perfectly because that's the kind of person she was. The working environment on The Whole Truth became increasingly toxic. Increasingly means more and more as time went on, and toxic means poisonous, unhealthy, bad for you. Not physically poisonous, but emotionally unhealthy. Scenes between Reed and Granger were filled with underlying tension that could sometimes be felt even on screen. Underlying tension means hidden stress and bad feelings beneath the surface. Even people watching the movie could sense that something was wrong between them. Their chemistry was cold, brittle, and uneasy. Chemistry in acting means how well two actors work together, and if they seem natural together. Brittle means fragile and likely to break, like thin ice. Their chemistry was far from the romantic spark the filmmakers had hoped for. They wanted the actors to seem attracted to each other and in love, but instead they seemed cold and uncomfortable. Off-camera, Reed often avoided Granger. When they weren't actually filming, she stayed away from him. She chose instead to spend time with the director or fellow cast members, anyone but Granger. Her friends later said that she dreaded each day's shoot whenever she knew she had to share scenes with him. Dreaded means she was filled with fear and dread, really not wanting to do it. She hated going to work on days when she had to act with him. I counted the days until filming ended, she admitted later. This means she kept track of how many days were left, like counting down to the end of something terrible. I have never been happier to finish a movie in my life. Such an admission from a woman of Reed's restraint was rare. Restraint means self-control and being careful about what you say. Donna usually didn't complain or say negative things, so for her to say something this harsh showed just how deep her animosity toward Granger ran. Animosity means strong hatred and hostility. It wasn't just his arrogance that offended her. It was the complete lack of courtesy he showed toward others. Lack of courtesy means he had no manners, no politeness, no consideration for other people's feelings. Granger reportedly spoke down to assistants. Spoke down to means he talked to them in a condescending, rude way, like they were stupid or unimportant. He quarreled with the director, which means he argued and fought with the person who was supposed to be in charge of the movie. And he dismissed technical staff as if they were invisible. He acted like the camera operators, lighting people, and other crew members didn't even exist or matter at all. Reed, who had always treated every member of the crew with kindness, was disgusted by his behavior. Disgusted means she felt sick and repulsed by the way he acted. It made her feel almost physically ill to watch him treat people so badly. He had no respect for anyone, she said. Not for the director, not for the crew, not for his fellow actors. I don't think he even respected himself. The clash between her moral integrity and his inflated ego became emblematic of two very different worlds. Emblematic means it was a perfect symbol or example of something bigger. This fight between them represented something larger than just two actors not getting along. It was the humble American decency that Reed represented versus the elitist arrogance that Granger embodied. Humble American decency means the modest, kind, down-to-earth values that Donna stood for as an American from a small town. Elitist arrogance means the snobbish, superior attitude of someone who thinks they're part of an elite upper class. Embodied means he was a living example of this. He was this arrogance in human form. Even years after The Whole Truth was released, Donna Reed's memories of working with Stewart Granger remained bitter. Bitter means full of resentment, anger, and bad feelings that don't go away. Even a long time later, when she thought about that movie, she still felt angry and upset. While she went on to enjoy great success on television with The Donna Reed Show, winning over audiences with her warmth and authenticity, she never forgot the misery of that particular film shoot. Winning over audiences means making people love her and become her fans. Authenticity means genuineness and realness. And the misery of that particular film shoot means how unhappy and terrible she was during the making of that specific movie. I learned one important lesson, she later reflected. To reflect means to think back and consider something from the past. Never mistake charm for character. That statement, though subtle, was clearly aimed at Granger. Subtle means not obvious or direct, but you can figure out what it means if you think about it. And aimed at means it was directed toward him, like an arrow aimed at a target. She was talking about him without saying his name. What she meant was, don't think someone has good character just because they seem charming on the outside. Granger's suave exterior had long fooled Hollywood into believing he was a gentleman. Suave means smooth, sophisticated, and charming in manner. His exterior means his outside appearance and the way he presented himself to the world. He seemed like a gentleman on the surface, and Hollywood believed this act for a long time. Behind the camera, Reed had discovered he was anything but a gentleman. Anything but means the complete opposite. He was not a gentleman at all, not even close. In the decades that followed, fans and film historians continued to be intrigued by Reed's strong reaction to Granger. Intrigued means very interested and curious. Film historians are people who study movie history professionally. They all wanted to know more about why she hated him so much. For a woman as gracious and forgiving as Donna Reed to openly express hatred toward a co-star said much about how unpleasant the experience must have been. The fact that she, of all people, someone so kind and nice, would say she hated someone really told you something. It meant the situation must have been truly, truly terrible. Stewart Granger may have been a handsome, dashing figure on screen. Dashing means attractive, stylish, and exciting. The kind of man who looks like a romantic hero. But to Donna Reed, he represented everything she despised. Despised means hated deeply and intensely. He was vanity, arrogance, and cruelty disguised as charm. Vanity means excessive pride in your appearance and thinking you're beautiful or handsome. Disguised as charm means hidden under a fake layer of charm, like wearing a mask to hide your true ugly nature underneath. I could work with anyone, she once said in an interview, but not with a man who believes he's better than everyone else. For her, Stewart Granger was the one person in Hollywood who crossed that line, and she never forgave him for it. She had worked with hundreds of actors throughout her long career, and she got along with pretty much all of them. But Granger was different. He went too far. He crossed a line that you should never cross. And Donna Reed, despite being a forgiving person in general, could never forgive him for how he treated her and everyone else on that movie set. Sadly, Donna Reed's wonderful life came to an end on January 14, 1986. She was 64 years old when she died, which isn't very old at all. She should have had many more years to live. She died of pancreatic cancer in Beverly Hills, California. Pancreatic cancer is a very serious and deadly type of cancer that affects an organ called the pancreas in your body. It's one of the hardest cancers to treat and cure. She had been diagnosed with the illness 3 months earlier. Diagnosed means the doctors figured out what disease she had, so she only knew she had cancer for 3 months before she died. When she was diagnosed, the doctors told her it was at a terminal stage. Terminal stage means the cancer was so advanced and had spread so much that it couldn't be cured. It was going to kill her, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. This must have been heartbreaking news for her and her family. Her remains are interred in the Pierce Brothers Westwood Village Memorial Park and Mortuary in Los Angeles. Her remains is a respectful way of saying her body after she died. Interred means buried, so this is where she is buried, in a cemetery in Los Angeles, the city where she spent so much of her life and career. And that's the complete story of Donna Reed. From a small farm girl in Iowa to one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. From playing one of cinema's most iconic wives in It's a Wonderful Life to becoming a television legend. From being a devoted mother to being a passionate peace activist. And yes, from working with some of Hollywood's greatest talents to absolutely hating Stewart Granger more than anyone else in the entire film industry. Through it all, the success, the awards, the different marriages, the children, the activism, and even the terrible experience with that one awful co-star, Donna Reed remained true to herself. She kept her small-town values, her kindness toward others, except Granger, her dedication to her family, and her strong moral compass that told her right from wrong. She proved that you could be a huge Hollywood star and still be a good person. You could be famous and still be humble. You could be beautiful and still be intelligent. You could be successful and still put your family first. And you could be gracious and kind to almost everyone, while also having the courage to stand up to bullies and say, I won't tolerate being treated this way. That's what made Donna Reed special. That's why people still love her today, decades after her death. That's why It's a Wonderful Life is still watched by millions of families every year. And that's why her story, including the part about the co-star she truly hated more than anyone, is still so fascinating to hear about all these years later. Donna Reed was a real person with real feelings, not just a perfect image on a screen. She could love deeply, work hard, fight for what she believed in, raise a family, win awards, break barriers for women, stand up for peace. And yes, she could also hate someone who treated her and others terribly. And somehow, knowing all of this, the good and the difficult parts, makes her even more admirable and real to us today.